diabetes, type 1. Now, diabetes type 1, I was told for 18 months that I had it. But I took a simple glucosate test where I was told to come into the doctor's office and I would be there for about 3 hours, not to drink or eat anything after midnight, come in and do a simple test which was pee in a cup and then have a bottle of glucosate every half hour, pee in a cup again. Now remember, I'm meant to be there for 3 hours. After about an hour and a half, the doctor said, go home, you don't have diabetes. Yet for 18 months I thought I was going to die of this really bad disease. A girlfriend of mine had diabetes type 2 when she was a bit overweight for what she would normally be. She lost a bit of weight, did a bit of exercise, she's not even diabetic anymore. Now, with diabetes, there's a thing called the bone. In a lot of Aboriginal cultures, when I say Aboriginal, I mean cultures of different origin. When I say Aboriginal, I mean Australian Aboriginal. But there's a thing called the bone, and if the leader or the chief points it at you, then you believe that you're going to die. By telling kids that if they don't get their sugar, they're going to die. If you don't get your sugar, you're going to die. If you don't get your sugar, you're going to die. If you don't get your sugar, you're going to die. They believe it. They eventually go into shock because it's been pumped into their head so many times that if they don't get their sugar, they're going to die. Now, I'll give you a really good example of a case when I read that a guy was hoboing across America, jumped into a train, locked the door, and then realised he was in a freezer compartment. Alright? So here he is panicking that he's going to die because he's jumped into a freezer compartment. Because he didn't understand what was going on, he started to panic and started writing about how his hands were cramping up, how he was freezing to death, how he was shivering, how all his joints were starting to ache and so on and so forth. And left this journal, because he had a pen and a piece of paper, of how he was freezing to death. The only problem was, once the FBI found this guy dead in the compartment, in the train, they looked into it. The freezer compartment wasn't even turned on. It was actually quite insulated. But he believed that he was going to die from freezing. So he willed himself to death. And that's what happens when we tell kids they're going to die of diabetes. Luckily I was strong enough to understand what was going on.